Welcome to Rebecca Sounds Reveille. What an honor and delight do I have a guest for you today. She is stunning. She rocks the airwaves with a show of her own. She is absolutely incredible, but the story behind her really goes back a long way because her father was a commanding officer in the Vietnam War. Yes, he served 2 consecutive tours. That's a pretty big deal. And he was subjected to Agent Orange. And like a lot of veterans, well, she's going to share the story a little bit about that because, whoa, it's pretty, well, I'm going to let her share it because it's pretty rough. And we really want to pay an honor to him for that, as well as the challenges that she's had to face because of it. But what's really inspiring is that even though the challenges that she has faced, she's been really able to move beyond them and give inspiration to many, many people along the way. I have really got to tell you that what she does is unbelievable. She started acting school at the age of 5, and she's done modeling. She's been active in tap dancing, jazz, baton, gymnastics, tumbling, softball, martial arts. She is unbelievable. She's also done and wrote a playwright while she was in college at a theater. And that was something I'm going to have her tell you a little bit more about as well. She's also done executive marketing with a PR for TV fanfare. There's just so much that she's done, but she's mainly known for her celebrity interview and podcast website, ANEW podcast. And this is doing really well. In fact, it's just, it's rocking the waves. It's unbelievable what she's done. Many people in the arena of podcasting have been audio for years. But what she did and when she started it, well, I've got to tell you, was not something that was typical in the industry. And she's made a name for herself. She's been on IMDb, which is still there, and she has got a lot of things with that particular show. She's got celebrities, Billboard artists, Emmy Award winning people that are coming onto her show that she just shines with her interviews. It's unbelievable with what she does. But she has a co-host. And the co-host is quite well known as well. And I'm going to let her introduce her co-host because that's what she does best. So with me today, an unbelievable woman with an unbelievable story and an unbelievable inspiration that she shares from the beginning of her world to now, and that's going to move you to be inspired into the future. Dawn Piercy, welcome to the show.
Hi, what an intro, Rebecca. Thank you.
I am so excited to have you. You have just got a phenomenal background. You are a phenomenal woman with a direction that really helps people move forward, and I absolutely love it. I'm really excited to have you.
Thank you so much. Starting with my dad, like you said, he was a 2-time commanding officer in Long Binh, Vietnam, and he was affected by the Agent Orange. He was the man that laid the communication lines, also known as, to spy on the Viet Cong in the brush while they were dumping the Agent Orange. It had been so saturated within him that it mutated his sperm. And upon coming home, I was born within 2 years of him coming home, and I tested positive for a genetic mutation, deeming me 2nd generation Agent Orange, which has, I found that I passed to my son.
Okay.
So, I did. Now they're saying that it can go to 7 generations that they believe.
Okay, I have not heard that. That's pretty Pretty
Yes.
significant findings.
Now, the COVHA, Children of Vietnam Veterans Health Alliance, and for anybody that is a child of Agent Orange or veterans, people that are looking to get help for children of Agent Orange, COVHA, and that's COVVHA.net, has a slew of information. They have doctors round the clock over in Vietnam and actually go over there, and they're testing to see actually exactly what's related to being, from being second generation Agent Orange and third so far, that they have. They haven't started working on the third generation that I'm aware of yet, but they're putting a list together of, ailments that they're seeing in the offspring.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But with being a second generation Agent Orange, there are that they know of over 800 related illnesses to that, that they know
That's
now.
huge.
Very much so. But of course they're, doing the work to find out exactly which ones on that list of over 800 actually is coming from the Agent Orange. So, yeah. And
This
then,
is this is absolutely. It's you. I want to say breath stopping, not breathtaking, where you're in awe because it's so awesome. I mean, this is breath stopping to
kind of
hear.
like genocide is what
This
it
is
is.
horrible, and to think that we have so many people in our world that are affected by what happened, and most people do not even know that this is an issue. I think most of us oftentimes are focused on just the military men and women that went overseas and gave their life in Vietnam,
Mm-hmm.
either gave their life and were lost there,
We're still
or
giving our lives.
yes, and are still giving their lives, or they came back and they were affected by it and they lost their life due to the illnesses that they received because
Yep.
of Agent Orange. So what the next thing is, we only focus on that. We forget that there are children and generational, and now you're saying 7
Right.
generational effects caused from this. We don't think about that. And if you think about how many service members ended up having reproduced children, how many, what's the ripple effect from this? How many people
Right.
are suffering because of this, and what is being done?
Nothing.
And
I mean, right. Exactly.
okay, what's being done? You don't hear this being talked about. This is a huge challenge. But here's one thing: you are addressing this issue, you're bringing it out, but you're also inspiring other people to show that you are doing something and you are helping others in what you do. You're helping motivate others. You're an inspiration to others. You have a show. You are doing things. I mean, at the age of 5, you're doing some incredible things. You've done a lot with your life, from modeling, martial arts. I mean, Dawn, you have done some absolutely incredible things, and now you have your own show. And I want to know a little bit too about your co-host.
Yes, my co-host Mariano Big Dog Mendoza. We have Mariano Big Dog's Corner of a new podcast, and I host and he co-hosts, and he brings a lot of guests. We've got like the creator of the UFC. We've got Empire Wrestling Federation. We've award-winning actors and filmmakers, and even comedians, legendary martial artists, um, veterans. And he is a veteran. He is a veteran and also an actor. And he's gonna be, well, he is in Rob Zombie's new film that's coming out, Three from Hell. He plays this Gonzo, and right now he is wrapping up a feature film of Master Chancla, which we did an original that I helped write and had.
I wanted I
Yes,
just
and
wanted
it,
to talk to you about that because it's in pre-production and I want to know when it's coming out.
well, yeah, it's being made into a feature film. Master Chancla, the original with a K, has already been released. You can actually see it on anewpodcast.com. And then I was starred in a spinoff of Master Chancla, the Oracle of Nunchaku, which I wrote, and it's hilarious. It's I've got these curlers in my hair. It's a like a Mexican kung fu parody and of Kung Fu Hustle, and I'm the lady with the curlers in her hair and a cigarette hanging out of my mouth, and here I come, spinning my nunchucks, and as I spin the chucks, I get these visions, and I got to warn Master Chancla that he's got a pupil that's gonna come kick his tish, and
I love it. I love it. I love it. You're having fun with what you do. And I
yeah.
know that I mean, it's challenging, but you are getting out there and you are making things happen for a lot of people and you're providing inspiration and entertainment and comedy and all the things that we need to do to help us move forward in a lot of ways that we sometimes think, um, aren't so helpful, but they really are. They're things
Mhm.
that really release a lot of tension or get
Right.
our minds off of a lot of stress. And this is really exciting about what you do. Tell us a little bit more about your podcast specifically, because I think it's important because you're coming to the TLBTV
Yes,
family.
I am. Okay, a new podcast. Me and a new podcast and Big Dog's Corner of a New Podcast. We coincide and run shows consistently off and on. It's every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. It airs on the main platform, anewpodcast.com. And then I interview, Emmy-winning celebrities, actors, filmmakers, producers,
I love it.
comedians, authors. There's a World Guinness World Record holder for fire breathing. Fire breathing.
I
What?
love this. I love this.
Um, and comedians and authors. And I like to pick some of the most inspirational guests that have a great background, because I find that, so many people have been through so much in their life, and that you see every day normal, you have all these normal people, and then you have, Hollywood, of course. Well, every day people are struggling. How are they going to make it? There's some people that haven't found their niche, and they're like, what do I do? What am I going to do with my life? Where am I going? Am I going to work a 9 to 5 every day for the rest of my life that I hate? Well,
It's so
I'm here
true.
to tell you, you don't have to. Think back to the time when you were a child. What did you want to be when you grew up? I wanted to be in the entertainment industry ever since I was 5 years old. And I knew that. And then when I was 10, I was interviewing my friend on her porch. And now she's an award-winning Tejana, singer. And
Oh, I love it.
so, and here I am 30 years later, and I'm like, I want to interview you again, right? So, at 10 years old, I was interviewing people on their patios. And it's kind of funny and ironic that everything I've gone through and searched for was always right in front of me. It was being able to get
Oh,
an idea and write it down. What did I really want to do with my life? Well, I don't know. Write it down. So I started blogging. That's how I started. I started
okay.
blogging.
Okay.
I'm an award-winning poet, and I started a blog for my poetry, and I'm also a family historian. So I wanted to have a place to put my family history findings, which I had a following, in 58 countries of just following my poetry and my family tree. And as it's built, I've put, people on there, and I'm like, oh gosh, oh no, they're my grandparent. I don't know if I want to put that on there or not.
Right.
But why not? I have to look at it like this. It's like, I'm not my ancestors. I'm me, and I'm here right now, and I can release any strongholds that I need to release. But it's been a journey. So And that's how I started. And then people started following. And then I just happened to get picked to be a co-host on an off time with ABC News Radio, Aaron Sanchez, The Morning Club.
I love it.
And I'm a member of the Breakfast Club, and he picked me to be a co-host in January 2017. And that was my very first time on air. And I had so much fun. And my friend Taz Zarate, and he's also an actor, he reached out to me and he's like, I want to see you back on air. And he's like, Aaron should hire you. And I was like, well, I don't know about that, but I had a lot of fun. And then I had someone a couple months later reach out to me and say, you need to start a podcast. And I was like, and that was Efren Guzman, and he runs the Atomic podcast. And I said, well, what would I do? Interview all my famous relatives and call it All My Relations? I was being smart ass, of course. So I was like, well, you know, and he was like, well, I don't know. And so I ended up starting by interviewing people in the Breakfast Club room, which consisted of me, Efren Guzman, Alejandro Patino, the actor, and then I interviewed Aaron Sanchez and his cousin Crystal. So I got, you know, started off from the Breakfast Club room.
Right.
And then I started interviewing my followers. So I really wasn't looking for people.
Okay.
I was just, I didn't really have to look for people. I made a list of people I wanted to interview, and I was like, I'm going to make a list of my followers. Who do I talk to on Twitter, right? Well, I talk to them anyways all the time.
Yeah, that was a really good idea.
And boom, and that was it. And then eventually, after finding the way I kind of like to interview, you know, instead of having more of a conversation, I was like, oh, I want to turn this around and have it just about my guest and what they've been through and how they got through it, and bring that inspiration to other people so that they can do something too.
I love it.
I love it. If they won't listen to me, maybe they'll listen to their favorite celebrity on TV, right?
Yes, and sometimes that influence really makes all the difference in the world. And
right.
Because you can talk and talk and talk, but maybe something isn't quite connecting. But when you have somebody else bring something to the table and the light bulb just goes off, that's what it's all about, is helping other people and just knowing that sometimes it's really hard for some people to understand that not always, even if you have the information, is it going to get through? And sometimes it just takes another person to just make it connect. And this is exciting that you do that and you know it. And that's the goal. I mean, is just to get out there. And I really love what you're doing.
Thank you.
We are really, really excited to bring you and your show and all of the goals that you have to the TLBTV family. We're really excited about that. Share with the viewers, though, in the meantime, where they can go, and in addition to, once you get here, where they can get a copy of all of the things that you're doing, connect with you, everything about what's going on with you.
Okay. Well, first I forgot to mention that Mariano, my co-host, is also an MMA fighter. Okay.
I love it.
All right. Here we go. ANEWpodcast.com. Just keep it simple, right? From ANEWpodcast.com, we have Big Dog's Corner of a New Podcast.
Yes.
We have and the new web series After Dusk with Dawn Piercy, which starting in July, the second season starts on Gods and Goddesses. And what that is we talk about things that go bump in the night, and to where I'm working on disproving as to why people should not worship gods and goddesses, because they're on people's family trees and born of people. But anyways.
No, I got you. You.
We talk about things on there that go bump in the night. It airs Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern time, starting in July. And then we have a new edition, and that is Magus Elgar, okay?
Yes.
It's now on a new podcast, and you can check that out. It's an audio comedy that was written by, let me see, I just want to make sure that
Kennedy Phillips.
Yes, Kennedy Phillips, you're right.
I know this one.
Yes, and so check that out. Yeah, ANEWpodcast.com. And you can follow me on Facebook. We have a new podcast on Facebook. We have a new podcast on Twitter. And then also you can, in YouTube, and we're available on Anchor and iTunes and Google Podcast, Breaker, just your favorite
Everywhere.
streaming
You're
platforms.
everywhere.
Yes,
I
yes,
love it.
absolutely. And then I'm Dawn Piercy. If it's not Dawn Piercy PhD, it's just Dawn Piercy. And I know Twitter is at Dawn Piercy 976, and Instagram is Dawn Piercy _.
I love it. Thank you so much for being on the
You're
show
welcome.
today. I'm so excited about everything that you're doing.
Thank you, Rebecca. It's been great being on, and I am excited to join the TLBTV network.
Woohoo! Woohoo! And I want to thank all of you for tuning in today. This has been a really exciting show for me because Dawn is really got a good focus. She's got a great background, and she is going to hit it home with a lot of people who really need the inspiration. And for those who can share the things that she needs to share in reference to some of the things that we talked about, especially when it comes to the Agent Orange issue. There's a lot of things going on, and I think that if you know somebody, which I bet you do, that has any connections to Vietnam, Agent Orange, you've got to get this information out to them. So please make sure that you share this show with your friends, family, co-hosts, co-workers, anybody that you know on social media, and anybody that you don't. Thanks for tuning in to Rebecca Sounds Reveille. This has been brought to you by the Liberty Beacon and TLBTV.com.